How are we looking camera-wise? Don't want to risk. Yeah, I think the camera's going to be fine. Let's see. Yeah, we're not doing too bad. The hair's a bit fucked. It's probably just because I haven't washed it. There we go. That was Kevin MacLeod. I can't believe that. Literally. Is it? Oh no, it's Kevin Malone. Lodi. I think this person does. This was under something that was called royalty-free jazz, so I assumed it was alright. But welcome, okay? This is normally a stream that talks about music. I say that, it's only gone on for a little under a week. But yes, this platform's normally about music and music research. But what inspired me to even start doing this in the first place was the fact that the election started, and the moment that happened, I knew that the manifestos would start coming out sooner or later. And here we are. We've got our first manifesto, the first one to come out with I don't know, we have it, doesn't it start on the 4th? So I don't want to show messages that I don't want to show. Let's just bring up a normal calendar. In fact, I'll just bring it up on my phone just to be safe. So elections on 4th of July, or Independence Day, as we might know it as. So we have a little over 3 weeks. We've got less than a month now until the election. And, well, look at this manifesto, okay? We know this party is not going to get anywhere near the votes needed to have a majority. They might have a chance of, what would you call it? They might have a chance for where there's a hung parliament and they might be brought in to help the balance with Labour, but high doubts. Labour right now is at a major high, and generally it's not going to take. It's not going to go down in under a month unless Labour does something incredibly stupid. But despite that, despite the fact that Lib Dems probably isn't going to be running at all, this is a grand total of, holy shit, 135 pages. Admittedly, it is in, what, 14 font, and a lot of it's probably going to be garbage. Not because of the, not because it's Lib Dems, but just because when I say garbage, I mean like there's going to be massive headers and let's go back up real quick. You know, there's going to be like, yeah, like a big page here and a bunch of pages here. So what I mean to say is, God, this is not a good start. Uh, like forward isn't probably gonna not bring up all that much, and then on the fair deal, the first paragraph and maybe first page probably won't bring up anything that's actually important. That's what I mean. Now, also before we carry on, I am going this in an angle that is largely. I'm gonna quit this real quick as well. I'm going to approach this on an angle that is, you should know, right now I'm thinking about voting for Green, and that is because Green Party are generally for climate change, and I feel like they're going to pressure Labour more to enact their green action policies, which is probably one of the most important policies that I personally care about. If I weren't voting for them, then I'd probably vote for Labour, and if it weren't for Labour, then I'd probably vote for Lib Dem. That's kind of the order that I'm going in. And if I couldn't go for any of those, I probably wouldn't vote for anyone else. I'd probably just abstain. But yeah, essentially, that's my angle. That is my angle of how I'm going to be approaching this. I'm not an expert on politics, really. I've been following politics quite closely since I was about 14. But I wouldn't call myself an expert on economics. I wouldn't call myself an expert on understanding climate change and energy or anything like that outside of what most people would know. Um, I know about these subjects and I've watched plenty of debates on those subjects. I generally lean to the left, but I wouldn't call myself like a socialist or anything like that. I just call myself a standard, I guess what you'd call like a liberal, left-leaning person. I like capitalism. Okay, I think it's pretty good. Um, so that's the angle that I'm approaching it from. Uh, is there anything else that's worth saying? I kind of want to make it go to the 10-minute mark so that when I begin on 10-minute marks so that I know when I start. Um, I guess the other main thing is that a lot of this is going to be, I'm going to probably read something and we might not actually know what it means. And I'm going to, if I know what it means and I feel like it's something that's quite complicated, I might go ahead and explain it. Um, and if I don't know what it means, I'm probably just going to be honest with you on that fact. And we might go ahead and start reading some bits here and there to actually understand what the policy is that they're introducing. I'm also hoping that there's a decent amount of economics in this. Like, and when I say economics, I just mean we know what numbers they're planning to put out there. Like, we know let's say they want to invest 20 billion in climate change, and hopefully they explain how they're going to get that 20 billion. If they don't explain how they get that 20 billion, then that's a knockdown for me because that just shows me that you don't know where you're going to get this money from. And they might say something like, we're going to tax the rich. It might be worth looking into how worthwhile it is to tax the rich. They might say it's worth um, cutting spending on the NHS, and then maybe we need to see how much spending goes on the NHS and all of that. So that's how I want to approach this. I want to approach this on an angle of if there's something that we don't understand, hopefully we can go, okay, let's learn, find out why it is that this thing, find out why this policy is the way it is, and then approach it from, okay, we're going to actually see and understand if their economics make any sense. And if they do, then great. And if they don't, then it's probably not worth voting for. I'm also, just right off the bat as well, I'm not 100% convinced that um, Lib Dems are going to convince me. Just saying right off the bat, I'm not 100% sure. To me, Lib Dems come across as very centre. Um, generally end up, I mean, right now they're going full on left leaning. Um, but sometimes they worked with the Conservatives during and essentially helped fuck up this economy for the first half. So yeah, I get a bit confused with Lib Dem. And final thing I'll say is that the one big thing I do know that Lib Dem supported, which convinced me when I was younger, was the fact that they wanted to legalize weed. And I'm hoping that they keep with that idea because I think that's probably more relevant now than ever before, considering Germany has now legalized weed, Canada has legalized weed, and America has largely legalized weed. I mean, they've put it down on the I was going to say on the credit. I don't know what it's called on their you have a class A, class B, class C. They put it down, I think, to class C now. And on a federal level and on state levels, I think half the states at this point has legalized weed. So I'm hoping that Lib Dem is still a voice for that part. But outside of that, let's see. I think Lib Dem is also. I don't think they necessarily care about winning seats in Parliament outside of the fact that they want to. They are largely about local stuff. They generally work better at snap elections in local areas, not necessarily general elections. But we'll see. I mean, if they do good, then yeah, we'll see. Right. Oh, I should mention as well. So, like I said, I'm taking notes. I've got this page here, and we need one more page. So this is for a fair deal. Dems create another new note. We'll call it Lib Dem Manifesto. You probably won't see the screen. I want to leave the main text on this screen, which is my main monitor, because it's a better monitor, and you guys can have that screen. My other screen will be where I take my notes, and then maybe at the end we'll change it round. I don't know how long I'm going to do this particular stream for. I think we've still got many days, at least, until Labour and Conservatives come out with their manifestos. So we'll have a couple of days where we can go through this, because I probably won't get through it all in one day. Templates. Manifesto. Let's go 2024 election. Lib Dem. Manifesto. Okay. Righty ho. Oh, and one more thing. I promise this will be the last thing. I probably won't be able to see the comments too well. Let's see. We have. Close this. Is there a way of popping out this screen? This window. Oh. Okay. I don't know. I probably just won't see the comments that often. Frankly, I don't expect many people to watch a stream of some random person on YouTube talking about the manifestos and whatnot, but we'll see. Right, we're at the 15-minute mark now, so let me just write 15 mins into the video is the start of the recording. Right. Forward. This election is our chance to win the change our country desperately needs. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of junk. Everywhere I go across our great United Kingdom, I see the people of all backgrounds and all walks of life, working hard, raising families, helping others, and playing by the rules. But they have been let down and taken for granted. Let me read that again. They have been let down and taken for granted for far too long by this out-of-touch Conservative government. Families and pensioners are struggling with sky-high energy bills, food prices and housing costs. And the Conservatives have only added to the pain because they just don't care. Jesus, brutal. Okay. Sorry, The Conservatives have plunged the NHS into crisis, failing to deliver for the new hospitals they promised, and making people wait hours for an ambulance, weeks to see a GP, or months for urgent cancer treatment. They have been letting water companies get away with pumping filthy sewage into our rivers and lakes and onto our beaches. It's time for change. Just a quick note on Conservatives plunging the NHS into crisis and failing to deliver on new hospitals. We already know the NHS is in crisis. I think a large part of that is the pandemic. I think some of it is also funding issues and the protests that are happening as a result. But failing to deliver on the hospitals is a true thing. They promised, I think, 30 hospitals by the end of I think they originally said by the end of their parliament, but then they moved it on to by 2030. So they promised 20 new hospitals. Let me just make sure, because I don't want to misquote. It might actually be 40 new hospitals. God, I'm sorry. I know it might take a little while. Labour increase. Let me see. know. I didn't write it down anywhere. Definitely yesterday. Definitely yesterday, surely. Okay, there we go. There we go. I do have it. So, so they aim to get 40 new hospitals by 2030, and as of mid 2023, they managed to make 2 hospitals in total, and 5 additional hospitals are currently under construction. So, at this rate, we might get what? So that took 5 years. So another 5 years. So at this rate, we might get half the hospitals they promised. Might do. But that's assuming, well, at this rate we'll get 14 hospitals. That is the rate that we're getting. So we're not even going to get half of the hospitals that they promised. So that's something worth just real quickly pointing out. The Conservatives promised to deliver new hospitals. And then I'm going to link this. As of 2023, the Conservatives have built 2 hospitals and have 7 under construction. There we go. Spell hospitals wrong. Sorry, I know you can't see this. I'm just making sure we have notes. Let's label this as page 4. Page 4. Okay. They have promised that they promised making people. There's also this sewage bit. Mention of sewage. Find source. I know about this sewage problem, but I don't actually know much details about this sewage problem. Like, I kind of just know that the rivers are getting dirty and that it's due to really poor regulation, but I don't know how much is it blamed on the Tories, I guess. It's time for change. These Conservatives have got to go. And in so many parts of this country, we have shown that it is the Liberal Democrats who can get them out. Yes, in a by-election, but when it actually comes to a general election, I don't think you've shown that yet. And also, you worked with the Tories, so... Okay. But this election is more than a change in government. We must transform the very nature of British politics itself so that we can fix the health and care crisis, get our economy back on track, end the appalling sewage scandal, and give people a fair deal they deserve. I'm actually going to relabel this to forward. Every vote for the Liberal Democrats is a vote to elect a strong local champion who will fight for a fair deal in you and your community, a fair deal where everyone can afford a decent home, somewhere safe and clean, with a comfortable retirement when it comes. A fair deal is where every child gets to go to a good school and have real opportunities to fulfill their potential. A fair deal is where everyone can get high quality healthcare they need, when they need it, and where they need it. This is a fair deal for the Liberal Democrats. This is the fair deal that the Liberal... Come on, brain. That is a fair deal the Liberal Democrats are fighting for. I know we can achieve it, so join us and let's make it happen. Ed Davey. Ed Davey, just so you know, is the leader. I always hate these paragraphs, and I think we're going to get it a lot, where, okay, good that you mentioned a strong local champion. That is a unique thing to you. But everyone, including the Conservatives, are going to agree to get affordable, decent homes and a comfortable retirement and all of this. I don't think the Conservatives would not want this. So I don't know why stuff like this is always made, but doesn't matter. Our fair deal. In so many ways, things in our country are broken. The economy, the National Health Service, the climate, the housing crisis, all are in crisis after the years of the Conservative neglect. Schools are crumbling and clean rivers seem a thing of the past. God, I really need to see about this clean rivers thing. Really need to look into clean rivers. So really reckon them on this, and I know it's a big deal, but I didn't know it's this big of a deal. I'm obviously I'll admit I'm lucky because I live in the south, so I think it's more of a problem in some of the northern areas, if I remember rightly. I don't know. The Conservatives have wrecked our relationship with our nearest neighbours in Europe, with Brexit, and our political system is simply not fit for purpose. Millions of people feel powerless and excluded. Conservatives bad because Brexit, schools and rivers crumbling, or infrastructure. I'm just going to write conservatives bad bit. Conservative bad section. So the reason I'm noting this, by the way, so I'll show you now. So I'm just writing conservatives bad because Brexit, and the reason I'm noting this is because later on they're gonna, I'm assuming, bring up what they're gonna do because of Brexit and how to improve our relationships with the EU, and I hope they'll come up and talk about what they're going to do about infrastructure, because if they don't, then why did you make these points? Okay. In so many ways, the country's broken. The economy, the national health. Actually, I should write those as well. So these are the things that they're labeling as bad. So NHS sucks, is dying. Climate is dying. The housing market is dying. Schools are crumbling, blah, blah, blah. And then our political system is simply not fit for purpose. Interesting. Political system not fit for purpose. What's it called? Alternative vote? Question mark. It sounds like they're hinting at an alternative vote there, but I don't know. Millions of people feel powerless and excluded. It doesn't have to be this way. Britain has overcome big challenges before, and we can do it again. For more than 150 years, Liberals and Liberal Democrats have led the fight for a fair, free, and open society. Have Liberal Democrats been? Liberal Democrats have not been around for that many years. I swear it's only came about and established around, what, like the 80s? Lib Dems. When were they established? UK. Yeah, they were established in 88. Do they just mean in general? I guess they used to be the Liberals and Liberal Democrats. I'm just gonna... The Lib Dems have only existed since 1988. Are they saying they are the same as the Liberal Party? I thought the whole point was they split up. No? Don't know. Let's see. God, okay. Come on, we're only at page 6. Fuck. Jumping free trade, introducing a state pension. I didn't know that. Interesting. I'm gonna view these claims. Laying down the foundations for the welfare state and the NHS. I thought that was the Labour. Legalizing same-sex marriage and taking urgent action to tackle the climate emergency. Labour established NHS. Conservatives. I want to check if this is actually them or someone else. Okay. Today, our fair deal will give everyone the power to make the most of their potential and real freedom to decide how they live their lives. It would call the over powerful to account. It has 5 themes. Okay. A fair deal on the economy. Let's trying to make these good headers, but themes to check. Oh, what page was this all? Trying to think of how to order this. I might actually make a separate page. Some Lib Dem claims to check. Add a new template and 2024 election. Lib Dem. Okay. So what I've done now is I've got a new page just to put some Lib Dem claims on. And hopefully that'll be good. And I'm gonna put on here page 6. And then I'm going to put on here page 6. Nope. Some Lib Dem claims to check. Hashtag page 6. Okay. So, just so you know, I'm kind of writing this in order, but I've now got a dedicated page to Lib Dem claims. Some Lib Dem claims of their history. And I've just got this on a separate page now, so we can check on those later. Right. We're getting there, page by page. For one, What is this formatting? Why? Why is? Oh, come on, Lib Dems. Just move it down one. I'm not gonna hate on you just for that. Fair deal on the economy. Everyone deserves a chance to get on in life. Go on. Everyone deserves to get a chance in. Come on. Everyone deserves the chance to get on in life, see their hard work properly rewarded, and realize their hopes for the future. Businesses and entrepreneurs should be supported to create a worthwhile jobs for every part of the UK. Lib Dem will invest in renewable power and home insulation to drive a strong economic recovery, bring down energy bills, and create clean, secure, well-paid jobs. Okay, that's the first big claim. Now, we will put the people first, investing in more apprenticeships and new apprenticeships and new lifelong skill grants. Okay. I don't know what lifelong skill grants are. Is that just another word for apprenticeship? Long, lifelong skill grants. Also, I need to know, are apprenticeships that effective? I've heard mixed things about apprenticeships. We'll see. Not important right now. We will overhaul parental leave to give families more choice and flexibility over how they juggle work and home life. Interesting. We will support entrepreneurs, back small businesses, and reform business rates to help our high streets. Okay, I mean, that in general, that's interesting. Support entrepreneurs, back small businesses, and reform business rates. What does it mean to reform business rates? Will make Britain a world leader in new infrastructure, businesses, and technologies needed to tackle climate change. This is big. This is possibly the most important thing. We need to be the world leader on this. Uh, and the reason that I say that is because it's a technology that everyone's going to need at some point. Like, everyone is dedicated to moving towards a cleaner climate and climate change, climate like renewable energy rather than relying on coal and oil. If and we are ahead in that game. We're pretty good at industrial work, but we're also a small country, so we need to act a bit like the likes of Tokyo, not Tokyo, Japan, or Taiwan, or South Korea. Tiny countries that specialize in a few small sections that makes them an economic, not superpower, but they make them a big economic power. Um, we, I don't, as far as I know, we don't really have that. We're kind of a financial power, and that makes us pretty strong. But how long are we going to be that financial power when um, people are looking at other countries like the US, China? Like, why would they look at us, especially since Brexit? Uh, how would we compete with the likes of Germany when they have the whole of EU market to their fingertips compared to us? We're not going to have that anymore. So that's important. So That's a big point for me. Oh, why are you doing this? Okay. We will manage the public finances with utmost care and responsibility. We will fix the UK's broken relationship with Europe and tear down the Conservatives' damaging barriers to trade. Interesting. We'll manage the public finances with utmost care and responsibility. I don't. That's almost scary to me because, of course, you will, right? Uh, fix the UK's broken relationship with Europe. Uh, send us back into the single market. Sounds like it. A fair deal on public services. Everyone should receive care they need when they are ill or frail, and a helping hand when they fall on tough times. Okay. A strong NHS, open to all regardless of wealth, gives people the freedom they need to live their lives as they choose. Every child deserves the best possible start in life. We know that education best is the best possible investment in our country's future. Yep. Liberal Democrats will give everyone a new right to see a GP within 7 days or 24 hours if it's urgent, with the extra doctors needed to make it happen. Okay. Obvious question, but how will you pay? I'm going to put these points in bold just like it is in the thing. So we've got them in bold here. And then I got all my notes here. We'll invest in improving public health, expanding early access to health services, and fixing social care. We'll give every child the support they need with more specialist teachers, free school meals for all children in poverty, and dedicated mental health professionals in every school. Okay. We will repair the broken safety net that currently co-signs so many to poverty. Sorry, I'm reading really poorly. We will restore community policing to ensure that every burglary is properly investigated. I don't know how you can do that realistically. If someone steals a bike, you're fucked. But we can see. Uh, and we will fund public services through fair taxes, such as reversing conservative tax cuts on big banks. I'm just going to summarize what they said there. So, my words. Actually, I should always I've already put these in speech bubbles, but yeah. In my words, expand healthcare, fix, expand healthcare, more specialist teachers, free school meals for all. I feel like that's just an obvious. Is that not even a thing yet? Actually, no, it can't be, can it? Honestly, free school meals just seems like a no-brainer. It's just such a no-brainer. Like having a meal, yeah, no-brainer. Uh, dedicated mental health professional in every school. As good as this is, we barely have enough mental health people for adults, nonetheless, also children. But in all fairness, children are probably more important. Um, restore community policing. I don't know what that actually means. What is community policing? and ensure every burglary is investigated. And we'll have it all done through fair taxes. Investigate into these big bank tax cuts, and also let's see your fair tax system. Okay. Fair deal on environment. Oh, actually, make sure this is included. Fair deal on public services. Fair deal on environment. Okay. Everyone should be able to enjoy the benefits of a wonderful natural environment, and our children should inherit the future they deserve. We must act now, locally, nationally, and globally. The UK can lead the world in innovation and ingenuity. Oh my god, I can't read. I'm sorry. Let's get
ingenuity.
Ingenuity. Right. Let's read that again. The UK can lead the world in innovation and ingenuity. Ingenuity being. What does that mean? Someone's ability to think in clever ways. Like, not me. Okay. Uh, Ingenuity, while boosting the economy and enhancing everyone's quality of life. The Liberal Democrats will hold big companies to account by giving them the duty to protect the environment, including banning water companies from dumping raw sewage into. Wait. Before I read on. Okay, let me finish this. So, Liberal Democrats will hold big companies to account by giving them the duty to protect the environment, including banning water companies from dumping raw sewage into rivers, lakes, and coastal areas. Is that not already illegal? That's gotta be illegal, right? I can't imagine. I'm gonna look that up now because if it's not illegal, I'm surprised it hasn't been legal. Okay. Because sometimes when people talk about when people talk about the reason that we have a regulated capitalist system, one of the number one examples is like, okay, I like free trade capitalism and all of that, but one of the problems with capitalism is that you can make selfish decisions like destroying the environment or um, giving people a product and lying and saying it will increase your health when it actually doesn't do anything for you. So that's why the government makes regulations on these companies so that we say if you release a product, you've got to actually have peer reviewed studies to show that it worked. Or if you have sewage, you can't just dump it in a river, for example. That's literally an example that people use, and I thought that that was just a given. I thought that was maybe a law that came around in the 20th century, but obviously not. Well, let's see. Is it the case that as of right now, it is legal to dump raw sewage into rivers in the UK? There's no way. Okay, this is from ChatGPT. As of right now, it is legal under certain conditions for water companies in the UK to discharge raw sewage into rivers. These discharges are generally permitted during extreme weather events such as heavy rainfall to prevent sewage from backing up into homes and streets. The practice is part of existing sewage system infrastructure, which sometimes cannot handle excess water without overflow. However, this practice has led to significant environmental concerns. In 2020 alone, there were over 400,000 incidents,
Incident.
incident is incident is into of raw sewage being discharged into rivers into England, lasting a total of more than 3 million hours. Okay. While these discharges are legally permitted under certain circumstances, there are frequent breaches of these conditions, resulting in illegal dumping of untreated sewage. Environmental groups and campaigners have called for stricter regulations and better enforcement to reduce or eliminate these discharges, highlighting the risks of both human health and wildlife. Fuck. That's funny. almost, almost funny, except it's actually quite scary. I'm gonna add this generated by ChatGPT. How can I can you make like a note? Abstract. Damn it. Okay. Give me just a second. Abstract note. Abstract obsidian. Callouts. What am I doing? 2? No. Oh, that's why. Do you need to have? Do you need to have these? 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I will. We'll get to this. I promise. Mark down. No, no, no. This shouldn't be the thing. I'm basically, I'm working out how to make a call out tip. Yeah. Note. Info. Info. So you can make a note like this, and then put this in here, this is a thing generated by ChatGPT, just to show us about how they're dumping crap in the river. Apparently, great. This is this is actually insane. I can't believe that it's legal to just dump shit in the rivers. Okay. I'll give it to Lib Dems. I'm for that. I am for protecting our rivers. I didn't think I would have to say that. Thought that would just be obvious. I thought it was obvious to not dump shit in the river, but okay. Right. God, I'm sorry. I'm so stuck. We haven't even gotten 10 pages through. We're going to be doing this for hours. We will put tackling climate change at the heart of our new industrial strategy. We will cut emissions and bills with energy emergency home energy upgrade program. Okay. With an emergency cut emissions and bills with this. What is this home energy upgrade program? Okay. We will drive we will drive rooftop solar revolution. Okay. And invest in clean energy, transport, and industry. We will restore nature and tackle toxic air pollution. I feel like that's a given. I don't need to include that. This is interesting. I don't know if you can hear that, so we're just going to wait. And we will provide skills training, incentives, and advice to help families and business transition with net zero. The reason I'm bullet pointing these now because I don't know how many of these bullet points are going to be included at the bottom. So I'm just going to do them now. 4. A strong United Kingdom and fair international order. The Liberal Democrats are proud internationalists. We believe that our country and our people thrive when we are open and outward looking. The UK can be an incredible force for good when it stands tall on the world stage, and both the COVID pandemic and Vladimir Putin's illegal war in Ukraine shows that events beyond Britain's borders inevitably become our concern. I promise I can read something with more than 3 syllables, I swear. Liberal Democrats will immediately fix our broken relation with Europe. Forge a new partnership built on cooperation, not confrontation, and move to conclude a new comprehensive agreement that removes any barriers to trade, as many barriers to trade as possible. So essentially we become part of the EU again. And I'm not against it. I'm not against this as a principle. I want to go back with the EU. But I think it's funny that essentially the Lib Dems are saying, look, we're going to basically be as much part of the EU as we possibly can be without being in the EU. That's not a criticism. I actually think that's a plus. I want to be part of the EU if we can. Frankly, I think the worst thing that's came out of leaving the EU is just this everyday thing for the people that is like coming back home from a holiday and having to go through a different customs instead of the normal customs. That's honestly, like, I don't know how much of the economic turmoil has come as a result of Brexit. I think the most of it has just come as a result of bad conservative money spending and the war in Ukraine. I think those are probably the 2 bigger things rather than Brexit. We'll stand up against authoritarianism by championing the liberal, rules-based international order. Interesting. This would suggest being up for locking up Israel President, I forget the name, Netanyahu, President with the court order. And what else would it suggest? It would suggest being, and also suggest being against the, what is it, the boats? Boats to Rwanda. Okay. We'll reverse Oh, here we go. Will reverse the Conservatives' damaging cuts to the army and international development. Isn't the Conservatives planning on building up the army? Am I wrong about that? Well, they may have made a bunch of cuts. Have they made a bunch of cuts? I thought they planned on bringing it back to 2.5% anyway. I'm going to add this to Lib Dem check. This is on page 9. Jeez, we've only gone through 3 pages. So it's that last tip. Okay. We'll work across borders to provide safe and legal routes for refugees and tackle common threats. Such as human trafficking, cybercrime, and terrorism. So this is further suggesting they will be against. Oh, that was not what I copied. Copy, paste. I am occasionally checking chat, so if you're there, I know no one's there right now, but if you are there, you can speak to me. Right. Work across borders to provide safe and legal routes to sanctuary for refugees and tackle common threats. So further suggesting against Rwanda shipping away thing. Right. How many more of these have we got? Thank fuck. One more. 5. A truly fair democracy. Every person matters. Liberal Democrats believe that the basic right and dignity are the birthright of every individual to be respected, cherished, and enhanced. Everyone should have equal power in a democracy. Oh god, this is interesting. And be able to hold all members of parliament properly to account. Liberal Democrats will introduce a proportional representation for electing MPs and local councillors across England, and cap donations to political parties. Now, obviously, they're suggesting this because it largely benefits the Liberal Democrats. In fact, if any, the biggest party that benefits from this will be the Liberal Democrats by far. But that being said, I'm all for it. I'm all for proportional representation. That being said, we did have a referendum on it. But in all fairness, this isn't the first time that Liberal Democrats would say fuck referendums. We will I was about to say shaft power. We will shift power out of the centre of Westminster and Whitehall so local decisions are made by and for the people and communities they affect. So local decisions are made by, okay, interesting. We will demand higher standards of behaviour for government ministers by enshrining a ministerial code of law, so essentially making a constitution. This whole thing's really interesting. We'll shift power. Okay. This is quite a bold one. And probably the one they, even if they manage to somehow get power, this would probably be the most difficult one for them to enshrine. But I don't quite understand what this part means. I don't quite know what it means because we do have local governments anyway. And I assume a lot of the decisions are made on those local governments, so I don't really know how that works. But fair enough. This part is very fascinating as well. Sounds like the beginnings of a Constitution to me. We will champion the UK's Human Right Act and resist any attempts to weaken or repeal it. This is kind of just a stab at the Tories, frankly, but I'm not against it either. Our goal is to transform the nature of British politics itself to make it relevant, engaging, and responsive to the people's needs and dreams. Okay. You can see we got a bunch of bullet points there. So what have we got here? In fact, I'm going to real quickly just run through each of these bullet points in turn. So we got economy, we've got business and jobs, we've got climate change and energy. So we're kind of going through the same things again. Health. Care. I don't know why I'm doing it like this. I should just go to the top again. So we've got care, then we've got education, family, children, young people, pension, safety net, crime and policing, natural environment, food, communities, transport, international. Okay. So where have we've only really got to the economy. We've only gotten to this part. I'm going to. We've gone for an hour. I think we're going to go for at least another hour. We're going to probably get through these pages quicker because, yes, we've got this paragraph here, but then it just goes through bullet points from there. So I'm going to take a short break. I'll be right back. As the screen says, I'll be right back. Listen to some jazz for a bit. Oh god, this music was not meant to happen. Enable repeat 1. I don't know what does that mean? Repeat 1? Surely repeat just means repeat. Enable repeat 1, and disable. I don't know what's the point of repeat? What happened to the good old days when repeat meant when you click repeat, it repeats the track? Okay, I'm back, by the way, if you couldn't tell. I've got some leftover Chinese I need to go through. I think we basically wasted the first hour reading a foreword when we could have just skipped ahead. I think I won't make that mistake again. I was considering for Labour's manifesto when they finally release it, which might only be in a couple of days now because they have finalised it. But for Labour's manifesto, what if we just make it so that when we do every time it says fuck, essentially it says fuck Labour in their own language, that we take a shot, but I feel like by the end of that I'm gonna be dying. It only takes me like, I don't know, probably like 10 shots and then I'm dead. And I think Labour is gonna have plenty of time when they say fuck Labour, but that doesn't matter. Right now, this is about Lib Dem. Um, Fuck it, I'm just gonna say it, even though there's no one here. For anyone who is gonna be new watching it from this point forward, essentially we're going through the Lib Dem manifesto. We're going to go through it all, and I'm taking notes. I'm just looking stuff up along the way. Interesting start because we found out that the Conservatives have left it legal in some ways to allow raw sewage to go through the ocean. I didn't know that was a thing, but okay. And also, it seems like Lib Dem is for proportional representation. So obviously that's going to hugely benefit Lib Dems. That's why they want it. But I think it sounds like a good idea. But let's see how further details come along, because a lot of this is, oh yeah, we're going to give children, we're going to give every child a mental health professional, or not every child, sorry, we're going to give every school a mental health professional, and we're going to ensure school lunches and everything, which I'm all for. How do you pay for it? How do you make sure that doctors will definitely, when you get an appointment, that you're going to get your doctor in 7 days? How are you going to ensure that? I mean, you might get nothing. It might just all be bollocks. But we need to find out, right? And the only way you can find out these things is if you read their manifestos, because their manifestos is basically a thing that centers all the parties. So they always make them, every general election, they always make a manifesto. And not only is it the thing that centers the party, but there's also, I'm trying to remember the exacts, but when you are passing a law in the House of Lords, or in the House of Commons, you pass a law, and then it's sent to the House of Lords. If the thing that you're trying to put through is in your manifesto, so let's say Lib Dems somehow got power, and the thing they want to put through is, let's just see this, launching an ambitious industrial strategy to incentivize businesses to invest in and create good jobs across the UK, as set out in Chapter 4, right? I don't know. That was just a random example, but let's say that is in a law that they're trying to pass through, a bill that they're trying to pass through. The House of Lords can't turn down that bill because it's in this manifesto. So there is actually a kind of legal precedent reason that we have manifestos. It's not just a PDF as much as that might seem. It's actually something that is important for our legal system. So Mm, with that in mind, let's get on with this pip. Okay. I might not take notes on these big paragraphs going forward as well. I just want to read through it in case unless there's something that's absolutely essential that's in there. Liberal Democrats will build a strong, fair economy that benefits everyone in the UK by helping people back to work, supporting small businesses, improving long-term productivity, and delivering much greater stability for long-term investments, especially for the industries of the future. Okay. Core to our economic policy for improving stability and growth will be responsible management for the public finances, fixing the broken trading relationship with Europe, with Europe, and an industrial strategy focusing on the skills the future UK economy. Wait, and an industrial strategy focused on the skills the future UK economy. That's a typo, right? Right. The economy. I'm just gonna point out if they make a typo, because that's just funny. Um, nope. Doop, 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 doop. Okay, moving on. From renewable industries to digital, yep, we've already done that. Conservatives have badly mismanaged the economy and recklessly damaged the public finances, grinding economic growth to a halt and adding billions to the cost of servicing our debt. The botched Brexit deal has badly damaged the economy, leaving everyone worse off. By abandoning climate commitments, they have undermined industry's confidence in investment in the green products and technologies vital to both economic recovery and tackling the climate emergency. Uh, and they have taken the people for granted, failing to deliver on investments needed to bring prosperity to all nations and regions across the UK. They've left families and businesses to suffer the effects of their cost of living crisis without enough support, hit people with years of unfair tax rises. As far as I know, the taxes are highest that they've been in 70 years. Just going to point that out as well. As far as I know, it is highest in 70 years. Okay, such as freezes on income. Honestly, what the fuck? Such as freezes on. What the fuck? You done now? Thank you. Right. Is this picking up? Yeah, it is picking up. Such as freezes on, such as the freeze on income tax thresholds and their promises to level up has proved hollow. Just gonna make sure that this is actually picking up the way that I'm intending it to. Give me a second. Okay, sorry. Just wanted to check on the audio before. Okay, right. I was a bit intrigued. Suddenly I saw there was a viewer, but that was obviously me. Right. What do I need? Where am I at? Because we've mismanaged, they've undermined the industry's confidence, they've taken people for granted and failed to deliver investments needed for the UK, they've left families and businesses to suffer the effects of the cost of living crisis without enough support, hit the people with unfair tax rises and freezes, blah, blah, blah. We will empower the people and support businesses to thrive by encouraging investment uh, in boosting productivity. Cool. We will provide long-term help with the cost of living by cutting energy bills through an emergency home energy upgrade program, tackling rising food prices through national food strategy, and getting mortgage rates up. Okay, so already an interesting start. So instantly, these are the questions, and I hope that I can answer them by the end of this. Mm-hmm. Oh, what is this energy upgrade program? What is this national food strategy? Careful economic management. How are you going to get mortgage rates under control? Careful economic management doesn't answer this. Right. Invest in green infrastructure, innovation, and skills to boost the economy growth and create good jobs and prosperity in every nation and region across the UK while tackling the crisis. Okay. That doesn't actually say anything. So we are for green stuff, including infrastructure. Maybe that'll be explained later on, though. The broken relationship with Europe. Yeah, we've already kind of done that. With acts as a brake, which acts as a brake on the economic and cost of investment, jobs, and revenue. Okay, yeah. So how are you going to do that? Foster stability, certainty, and confidence by managing the public finances responsibly to get national debt falling as shares of the economy to ensure everyday spending does not ensure that day-to-day spending does not exceed the amount of raise. Okay. So Lib Dems are kind of posing a bit like the Conservatives, to be honest. At least in this policy. For controlling national debt. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing either. I just, how do you do that? Put an end to the conservative waste and give taxpayers real value for money, giving HMRC the resources needed to properly tackle tax avoidance and evasion. Okay, so tax evasion, uh, correct down tax evasion. Okay. Implement a tax policy that recognizes how high the Conservatives have raised personal taxes. Implement a tax policy that recognizes how high the Conservatives, making a cost of living. Sorry. Implement a tax policy that recognizes how high the Conservatives have raised personal taxes, making the cost of living worse by instead focusing tax changes on reversing Conservative tax cuts with big banks. Okay, so reverse Tory taxes. Okay. In addition, we will. Okay. So if it's something that actually mentions anything economic, I'm going to include it. If it doesn't, I'm not going to bother writing it down. To me, that just if it's unless it's something like super big. By the way, when it comes to economy, this might be a good place to put your weed legalization. Foster stability, uncertainty, and confidence that are vital for economic growth by protecting the independent banks by keeping inflation target at 2%. I don't know, was anyone suggesting that the inflation rate was going to change? Yeah, I don't know why they put that. That just confused me. In fact, it's so stupid, I am going to include it in the manifesto and say it's stupid. This is a dumb comment. No one is talking about changing the inflation target. I don't know what that's about. Showing that all fiscal events are accompanied by independent forecasts from the official Office of Budget Responsibility, ensuring that all fiscal events are accompanied by independent forecasts. Again, I don't not big on economics, so this was mentioned too. Is it different from what it is now? Okay, so they're just saying keep it with the same. That was dumb. I might just. Actually, why am I doing it like that? Just copy it, that's fine. Okay. Basically saying business as usual. Increase investment in green infrastructure, including renewable energy and zero carbon transport. As set out in those chapters to give a clear result. Okay, cool. Remain committed to delivering the United Nations sustainably in the UK and around the world. Okay, yep. Work with partners in, like, I don't know. I'll include it just so I can do my own research, but I assume this is a null comment. Okay. Work with partners in international forums, including blah, 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 to tackle international corporate tax avoidance. For benefiting all countries, and make a case for increasing global. So I think right now, that's interesting. I think this is currently at 15%. And what is corporate tax in the UK right now? USA, France, and Ireland. Okay. Here's what we know about international tax. So right now, the UK's corporate tax rate is at 25% for companies' profits exceeding 250,000. For companies with profits below 50,000, this rate is 19%. Ireland corporate tax rate is 12%, and France's tax rate is 25% and is 15% on the first 38,000. So basically, small companies, you don't get taxed until, well, you get taxed on the first 38,000. And this rest of the bit is by ChatGPT. So, yes, you are correct that. So I said, wait, isn't there an international tax rate of 15%? So there is an international tax rate uh, initiative aimed at setting the global minimum at 15%. This initiative is part of the broader effort of the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. So that's the OECD and the G20 to tackle this global minimum tax. The agreement was agreed in 2021 with plans for implementation beginning in 2023 and continuing to 2024. Countries are in the process of adopting this minimum tax rate into their national legislature. The global tax rate is expected to be primarily to the largest multinational corporations, with revenues above a certain threshold, ensuring they pay at least 15% of their profits in each country they operate. The OECD has been has been coordinating the details of how it should be applied. Several countries have begun this process of integration minimum tax and expected. Okay. So is this minimum also going to these small businesses? Percent taxes. Oh. Is this tax rate for just multinationals, not small business? Okay, so it's aimed at small businesses are not the primary target. These businesses generally operate in a single jurisdiction. National corporate tax continue to apply to small businesses. Okay. That's interesting to know. Corporate tax in the UK is currently at 25%. I didn't know it was that high, to be honest. I mean, it's not high, but I didn't know it was that high. But it doesn't make as much sense to tax a business anyway, so United States is 21%. And in France, it's 25%. Okay. Okay. Our priority for tax cuts when the public finance allows will be to sorry. Our priority for tax cuts when public finances allow will be to cut income tax by raising the tax-free personal allowance. Okay, benefiting the vast majority of families and taking more low-paid workers out of the paying income tax altogether. Okay. Lib Dems will lower taxes when things allow by increasing the raising the tax-free allowance. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, for me, it's not a good thing because basically it just seems like I'm just going to get taxed still, but we'll see. I am speaking in my own self-interest here. Make the tax system fairer by raising the money needed for our investment plans by reversing tax cuts, increasing the Digital Service Act tax on social media firms and other tech giants from 2% to 6%. Tax system. Make tax system fairer. Reversing Tory cuts on big banks to 2016 levels. We'll need to see how this tax works. Fairly reforming capital gains tax to close loopholes exploited by the super wealthy. Curious how they are going to do that. Also, isn't capital gain? I'm trying to remember. Also, I actually can't remember. I thought capital gains tax was about when you wasn't it like stock related? So like when you take a stock out, you pay a percentage. Don't know. Okay. Introduce a 4% tax on the share buyback schemes. I don't know how much I care about share buybacks, frankly. To me, that just means that the business does better. Don't know. To me, a share buyback scheme just literally means if you take your shares and if the shares are out there, then you buy them, and thus you make your shares worth more because you've bought more of your shares back. That's literally what it's about. And then that increases the wealth of people who bought those shares. So it does help the individual, assuming that the individual are buying shares. I feel like a lot of these issues could be solved by just teaching people more about buying stocks. Like actually going out of their way to buy stocks. Not sure. In retrospective tax changes, such as the loan. So are those the only tax changes? Okay, well, at least we got something. And retrospective tax changes, such as loan charge brought in by the Conservatives, and review the government's off-payroll working IR35 reform to ensure self-employed people are treated fairly. I don't know what this sentence means. Yeah. Sounds good for the self-employed. Does this mean? I have a friend who is self-employed, so maybe he can tell me, because he might have a better idea of what it means. Although it's about loans, so I don't know. He doesn't have a loan, so it probably doesn't affect him. Right. Expand the British Business Bank to perform a more central role in the economy. Okay. To ensure that viable small and medium-sized businesses have access to capital, and enable it to help crowd in private investment, in particular zero carbon products and technologies. Okay. Oh god, it's gonna take forever to read this thing. Oh, right. Expand the British Business Bank. I don't know what that is for starters. I get the idea of what it is. What is the British Business Bank? Sounds good for small and medium businesses, which good for econ. I kind of like this Lib Dem policy so far, to be honest. I really like a lot of the stuff that they're saying. They actually sound pretty sensible, despite the fact that Ed Davey keeps falling off a freaking paddleboard or whatever the fuck. Hmm. And enable it to help crowd in private investment, sorry, in particular zero carbon products. Sounds good for green business too. Okay. I really like this. Some of these policies, to be honest. Empower our customers to ensure that everyone can enjoy the benefits of new technology. Empower customers to ensure that everyone can enjoy the benefits of new technology by setting a UK-wide target for digital literacy, requiring all products to provide a short, clear version of their terms and conditions, setting out the key facts. Okay, that's pretty cool as well. Sorry, my friend is talking about Prince of Persia. The we probably need some music, man. We need some music. Just can't have it too loud. Just gonna see these friend messages from Nick real quick. Okay. Oh, this music's so fucking good. Sorry. One of my favorite albums ever. Right. It's one of my favorite albums ever. It's just a really nice jazz album. It's not really my favorite one ever, but it's just really, really good. Right. So that's good. Our customers ensure that everyone can enjoy the benefits of new technology by setting a UK. Yeah, so this is basically saying, um, basically saying we are creating a TOS, a simplified. So you can't just dump 1,000 pages on someone. Unlike this manifesto, well, I guess they did make a simplified version at the top. Empower customers and ensure that everyone can enjoy the benefits of new technology. Sorry, I keep reading that one. Introduce a national financial institution strategy that requires both Financial Conduct Authority and the Prudential Regulation Authority to have regard to financial inclusion, such as protecting access to cash, especially in remote areas, supporting banking hubs, expanding access to bank accounts, delivering Sharia compliant student finances. What does that mean? And supporting vulnerable customers. What is Sharia compliant student finance? What does that mean? What do Lib Dems mean by in Islamic finance? Earning or paying interest is not allowed, so Sharia compliant must be structured differently to conventional loans. No interest payments. Instead of charging interest, Sharia compliant finance options often involve a profit sharing or rental agreement. This ensures makes an agreement where the bank buys an asset and leases it. Ethical investment. Many Muslims in the UK may avoid conventional student loans due to the interest component, which is against their religious beliefs. Well, it's a shame this can limit their access to higher education. The UK government and various educational institutions have recognised the need to provide Sharia compliant things. Okay, the UK has been working on an ASF, or an alternative student finance, a Sharia compliant student finance model, which will operate alongside the conventional loan model. This model would allow students to make payments based on their income without accruing interest. Allow students to make payments based on their income without accruing interest. Doesn't the traditional model also include paying finance based on income? So is it just so is it just student finance just without the interest? Would they pay instead with the ASF? F. Or both traditional and ASF models base repayments on income. Traditional model includes an interest component, uses a fee or profit sharing system. I need to look more into this. Oh crap. Has the Guardian got one? No. ASF model, Islamic loans, Islamic student loans. Some places already doing it. I don't really understand it, but sure, do it. I mean, it sounds to me that literally they're just getting all the benefits of a student loan, but without the interest. But I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something really obvious. Need to look into how this works. Okay. Okay. How much longer are we willing to go? I think I'm willing to go for a little bit longer. Maybe we'll get through. I really want to do climate and energy. How does this repeat thing work? So we want keep on. Nope. Nope. What's the point of repeat if it's not actually going to repeat it? I don't get it. I don't get it. Does repeat not repeat anymore? Why doesn't Spotify repeat? Why isn't there just wait, no. No longer able to repeat one song. There's no way that they've removed that feature. The only there was someone on in the comments about, oh my god, I can't believe that. Yeah. Wait, what if I put this to the end? Oh, thank fuck. Oh god, I thought that was like a given, like to add a repeat the same song. I guess if you click fast forward, then it doesn't allow it to repeat. Right. We're on page 17. I'll try and get through this one quick. The business and jobs. We aim to make Britain one of the most attractive places in the world for businesses to invest. Only in partnership with responsible, sustainable businesses can we tackle. Sorry, I almost pulled my finger off. With responsible, sustainable businesses can we tackle the cost of living crisis and climate change and create the wealth and invest in our healthcare, education, and other essential public services. Private enterprise is the principal engine to growth and prosperity in the UK. We support it by creating a stable business environment with both smart regulation and investing in skills, infrastructure, research, and innovation. In return, we expect businesses to commit to promote skills, equality, and good governance, and support their legal communities. Okay, local communities. Jesus. Conservative government has failed this. Government growth is minimal. Productivity is slipping. Constant U-turns. Unfair tax hikes. Yeah. Conservative have botched the deal with Europe. And yeah, okay. We already know this. We work with a partnership and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Develop an industrial strategy that will give businesses certainty. Develop an industrial strategy that will give businesses certainty and incentivize them to invest in new technologies to grow the economy, create good jobs, and tackle the climate crisis. Unlock British businesses' global potential by bringing down trade barriers and building stronger future relations with our closest trading partners, including by fixing our broken relationship with Europe, as set in Chapter 22. Fix. Okay, sorry. So I've kind of read them, but I didn't actually put it in my head. Develop an industrial strategy that will give businesses certainty to invest. So, okay. So, give businesses certainty. I don't know what that means. That's probably why I glossed over them, as it seems like it's all bullshit. Unlock British business global potential by bringing down trade barriers and building a stronger relationship with our closest trading partners, including fixing our broken relationship with Europe. So, fixing Brexit issues by getting closer with Europe by dropping trade barriers. Note doesn't mention getting back in EU. Fix the skill and recruitment crisis by investing in education and training, including increasing the availability of apprenticeships and career advice for young people. Increasing apprenticeships and career advice. Okay. Boost productivity and empower more people to enter the job market, such as parents, carers, and disabled people. By making the most of technologies, okay. Encourage more people, including disabled, to join job market through technology and newer stuff. I guess mostly that's referring to like computers and what have you. Okay. Boost small businesses and empower them to create new local jobs, including by abolishing business rates and replacing them with a commercial land owner levy to help our high streets. Encourage small business to create new local jobs by abolishing business rates. Okay. Introduce a general duty and care for the environment and human rights in business operations and supply chains. I don't know what that means really. Yeah, I need a bit more specifics than that for me to bother writing it down. In addition, we will re-establish the Industrial Strategy Council. So, also support British industry to cut emissions while holding businesses to account for their role in tackling climate change. Okay, we'll see that later. Support science, research and innovation, particularly among small businesses and startups in universities and zero carbon medical technology, including continue to participate in Horizon Europe and joining the European Innovation Council. Aim for at least 3% of GDP to be invested into research and development. That's cool. Support science via 3% GDP invested into research and development by 2030. I know it says rising to 3.5 by 2024, but I don't know if I care. Let's just focus on 2030 first, because you probably won't reach that. How much does the UK? How much does the UK invest into research and development by is it as of 2024? So right now, apparently, the aim is 2.4% by 2027. As of 2024, wait a minute. As of 2024, the UK has actively working towards increasing its investment in research and development to, okay, yep, by 2027. Currently, the UK's investment is around 1.7 to 1.9% of GDP. This doesn't mention a thing. It doesn't seem to say. There's not. I think I typed the wrong letters before as well. GDP. Government has committed to increasing UK investment in R&D to 2.4%. That's what I'm looking at. Government is committed to increasing UK investment in R&D to 2.4%. Yeah. Okay. Right now is between one is about. Is the red how much we've invested? What experimental development? So it's about 2% as of 2018. Wish we had a bit better. I'm going to say it's around about 2% right now then. I'll say 1.9%. So 2018, which is latest. Could find. Okay. Yeah. How much more of this is there? There's so much. Okay, we'll get through this quickly. Possibly. Ensure the UK has the highest possible standard for the environmental health and labour protections, at least matching EU standards. Try and meet standards for EU in environmental labour and consumer protection. Thanks. Kind of makes it seem pointless that we left at all, you know? Because if we wanted higher standards, we could in the EU, but oh well. what it should be saying is that we're going to do better than EU. It's kind of a defeatist mindset, but anyway. Tackle the productivity crisis by encouraging businesses to invest in training, take up digital technologies, and become more energy efficient, including through our industrial. Okay. Increase productivity through investment. Business investment training. Interesting. Work with major banks to fund the creation of local bank sectors dedicated to meeting the needs for local and small businesses. Okay. Smaller banks in local, small, and medium business is power scale up companies, especially outside of London and the southeast, using innovative ways, crowding in private investment. Okay. Not really. I just hope everyone is doing that. Although I guess Labour probably isn't. Not Labour. Well, maybe Labour as well, but Conservatives. Create a clear, workable, and resource cross-sectoral regulatory framework for artificial intelligence that promotes innovation while creating certainty AI users, developers, and blah blah blah. Establish transparency and accountability for AI systems in the public sector. Ensure the use of personal data of AI is unbiased, transparent. Regulations for AI, including transparency. And ensure that okay. Negotiate the UK's participation in the Trade and Technology Council with the US and EU so we can play a leading role. In global AI regulation and work with international partners in agreeing common standards for AIs. Interesting. Okay, I'm losing it at this point because I just copied and pasted that really without much regard. Okay. Unlock British businesses global potential, bring down trade barriers with the EU, right? Giving Parliament a real power in setting UK trade policy by ensuring that it is properly constructed. Blah blah blah. Yeah, ensuring that all information, small businesses, reliably, single point of contact, making clear objectives with the trade ministers to boost trade by small businesses. Yeah, placing human rights, labour, and environmental standards and protections on the heart. Yep. Support our world renowned whiskey industry by reviewing the UK's. This is random. Lib Dems want more whiskey. Resource use, waste, pollution, transition to more circular economy that maximizes the recovery, use, and recycling. Manufacturing, which will cut costs for consumers and businesses, reduce exposure, blah blah blah. Okay. Promote a public benefit company model monopoly utility companies. I don't know what that means. Encourage employers to promote employee ownership by giving staff in listed companies with more than 250 employees the right to request shares. Ooh. Encourage employers to promote employee ownership by giving staff in listed companies with more than 250 employees the right to request shares to be held in a trust. Interesting. Lib Dems being a little bit, what's it called? A little bit market socialist here. So that kind of cuts screens off of that one as well. Reform fiduciary duty and company purpose rules to ensure that all large companies have a formal statement of corporate purpose, including considerations such as employee welfare, environmental standards, community benefit, ethical practices. Yeah, okay. I don't know. Yeah. Extend the scope of existing public interest tests when considering approvals for takeover in large companies overseas, workers, consumers. Yeah, I don't know. Tackle the late payment crisis by requiring all government agencies and contractors and companies with more than 250 employees to sign up to a prompt payment code, making it enforceable. Interesting. Ensure. Through. Okay. Invest in people's skills by replacing the broken apprenticeship levy with a broader and more flexible skill training levy, boosting the take up for apprenticeships, including by guaranteeing they are paid at least national minimum wage, by scrapping the lower apprenticeship rate. Scrapping apprenticeship. I don't know. I don't know if that's real. That's a good idea, to be honest. The reason I don't know about this is because chances are, if you're in an apprenticeship, you're being paid to be trained as well. So, in theory, you should be in an apprenticeship for like a year or two and then taken out of it afterwards. You probably get increased pay as you go. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Create a new. Actually, I need to write that down. Not sure if that's a good idea. It will mean this. What's like the average time that you're on an apprenticeship for? How long is someone normally in apprenticeship? UK. $12 to 18 months. 18 months, oh, 3. A degree apprenticeship could be 3 to 6 years. Then most people aren't doing a degree apprenticeship, right? Most people are probably doing this higher apprenticeship. Actually, yeah, it's still 3 to 5 years. That's quite long. Average age of people in apprenticeships. Oh god, nearly half are 25 and older. Specifically, 48% of people were 25 and older, and 29% were between 19 and 24. God, okay, maybe that's... Average 48% of people on minimum wage are 25 and older. So yeah, that's actually insane. Okay, maybe that is a good idea then. Creating new lifelong skill grants for adults to spend on education and training throughout their lives. Okay. Developing national college and national centers, identifying and seeking out, uh, identify and seeking to solve skill gaps, such as a lack in advanced technicians, expanding higher vocational training like foundational degrees, and national diplomas, national. So really pushing on, really pushing on apprenticeships over degrees. Improving the quality of vocational education, strengthening career advice, and linking with employers. Okay. Fix the work visa scheme by expanding the youth mobility scheme as set out in Chapter 18. Okay, don't need to worry about that then. Establish a powerful new worker protection enforcement underlying unifying responsibilities currently spread across 3 agencies, including enforcing the minimum wage, tackling modern slavery. Okay, yeah, I think everyone's for that. Establish an independent review to recommend a genuine living wage across sectors, with government departments and other sectors employed taking a lead role. Independent review on recommending a genuine living wage. Modernizing employment rights to make them fit for age of a gig economy by including establish a new department, contractor employment status between employment and self-employed, with entitlements to basic rights such as minimum wage earnings. That would be big for what's their face? Delivery drivers and others. Review the tax and national insurance status for employees, dependent contractors, and freelancers to ensure fair and compatible treatment. I don't know what that is. Setting a 20% higher minimum wage for people on 0-hour contracts. at times of normal demand and compensate them for the uncertainty of fluctuating hours. 20% increase on minimum wage for contract. Giving a right to request a fixed hour contract after 12 months of 0 hour. That's cool. Give the right to fixed hours contract after 12 months of big for McDon employees. I'm literally just thinking of when I was a worker. Employees, however, could have risks with 0 hour employees just being fired near the end. I feel like the issue is that 0 hour employers could just be cycling through and just constantly fired and rehired. I don't know. Reviewing rules concerning pensions so that those in the gig economy don't lose out. And okay. Sure. Those 0 hour. Shifting the burden of proof in employment tribunals regarding employment status for individuals and employer. I'm not sure about that one. Fix the broken sick pay, making it available on more than 1 million workers earning less than 125. Okay, making sick pay available for those earning less than £123 a week. Jesus, that's rough. That'd be a rough pay. Sorry for those who are earning that. Align the rate with the national minimum wage, making payments available from the first day. Expanding parental leave and pay, including making them day one rights set on Chapter 9, making it available to more than that many. Aligning the rate with national minimum wage, making payments available from the first day of missing work rather than the fourth. I don't know what that means. Maybe I haven't worked in that level of employment in over 5 years, so that's probably why. Supporting small employers with statutory sick pay costs, consulting with them on the best way to do this. I don't actually know what a lot of this means. I'm just going to copy it all. Okay. Oh, and then we go to climate, but I cannot do it today. I cannot do it today. We have been streaming for almost 3 hours. I'm going to come off now and we may come back to, well, we're going to come back to this. We are now on the climate. We've gone to page 26, so it's taken us 3 hours to get to here. Admittedly, the first bit was probably the biggest chunk. I think it might take... What was we on? What was we on again? Six health. Okay. Page 26. It's taken us 3 hours to get to page 26. Let's just say it was 25. Then it's going to take us 4 days to get through all the pages. But, like I said before, the first few pages were a lot. We did take a break midway through, so... Not sure. We might be able to get through this a bit quicker on the next bits. Just real quick. Well, I'm just seeing the THC. I just want a little... Let's say THC. Okay, that is the only mention of THC. Protecting young people, tackling criminal gangs, and taking skunk off the streets by introducing a legal regulated market of cannabis sale, which will be restricted to 18s only, or strict limits on potency and THC's content. Well done. Why isn't this in the economy? What one is this put in? This put in health. This should be in the economy. It should be shown as an economic idea, not just a health idea, because it is way more than just a health idea. It's an economic idea. It will increase our economy, but it will make us part of a billion whatever economy. It's a $1 billion economy, so it's going to be a £1 billion economy as well. A really good idea. Okay. Anyway, happy that the Lib Dems are still supporting that. From what I've read so far, it seems to be about as... It seems to me, I haven't gone to the climate bits yet, that'll be an interesting read. It seems to me about as left-leaning as... It might not be quite as left-leaning as Corbyn's thing, but there is some of Corbyn's philosophy within this, but without all the anti-Semitism. Sorry, Corbyn, but yeah, you need to get that under control. Invest in renewable power so that 90% of electricity is generated from renewables by 2030. So they're not quite as ambitious on climate change, for example, than the Greens and Labour, by the looks of things. So that'll be an interesting read when we come up to it. But for now, I'm going to leave it there. We did it. We made it through a lot of this. And I hope that we get some more stuff written down. Here's all that we've got written down. And a lot of it is just me putting comments right now on certain parts of the writing that's in the manifesto. I want to start answering these questions for myself, and if I can get these questions answered for myself, then that'll be good, as well as just trying to link up certain bits together. But right now, I am actually really enjoying the Lib Dem manifesto. I think it's quite a good manifesto. And considering that Lib Dems aren't going to realistically be in government, I think that it would not be a terrible thing to vote for Lib Dem just as a counter vote, to be honest. I think they are a genuine good counter vote to Labour on the left. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a good counterbalance on the left, not on the right. Which is good because Lib Dems, I think, appeal to the centre as well. So I'm interested. I'm interested in seeing more. But for now, I'm going to end the stream. I will be back tomorrow to do more of this. I won't be around on Wednesday, so if we do carry on reading on, then it'll go from Tuesday and then to Thursday, and then Friday, and hopefully by Friday, I'm hoping that the Labour will also release their manifesto. But we'll get there when we get there. Until then,